Yo, what is going on, everyone? Brian and Jim here from DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, and welcome to our 22nd podcast. Today, Jim is going to be doing most of the talking as he's presenting one of the more hot topics in gaming right now. So, Jim, get it started. Let us know what we're talking about.
Alright, some of these points are going to be a little bit old at this point, but we're going to be going over some of the more major rumors regarding the upcoming Nintendo NX. So, some of these have been modified probably since then, some have been maybe updated, some have been denounced. I'm not exactly sure, but I have a list here of stuff that I've seen, so we're going to go through it one by one. And the first one, no physical media, meaning no physical games. Pure online download kind of stuff, right?
I guess it's an interesting concept. I mean, you're going to need a fucking huge hard drive to be able to hold what I would hope most gamers would want, a huge library of games. Now, I don't know how many new games the NX is planning on bringing out, but if it's anything comparable to the size of the Xbox One, I have a 500 gig hard drive for that, and that thing got filled up in 2 or 3 months of me having it. So, if they really go that route, I don't know how that's going to do. And I'm actually kind of surprised Nintendo would even want to go that way, considering, you know, they're so console friendly, I'll say, in the past. So, yeah, that's an interesting avenue, but I don't know how that's going to pan out.
I also think it's kind of funny too because Microsoft tried, or they were rumored to be the same thing with the Xbox One, and people revolted against that like crazy. Now, it's a different world than it was back in 2012, but you still have the same problems. The infrastructure for the internet across the country and the world, it'll make games take forever to download. Like Bri said, you'll fill up your consoles crazy fast. The old problems of not being able to transfer games between consoles, which Nintendo loves making you pay for the same game twice. And as other people have said in the past, it's going to be the first console in a while that gets rid of the backwards compatibility, which kind of sucks. So, I think it really remains to be seen. I understand for developers, it's a way cheaper way to get games out there and make money off it. But distributors are going to revolt against that too. Your Walmarts, your Targets, your GameStops, there's going to be a lot of pushback from it. So, honestly, I don't see that taking flight. And actually, speaking of the Xbox One, apparently in terms of graphics and processing power, the closest console it's going to be to is the Xbox One, and not really above it. So I'll take this one first, and what the hell, Nintendo? Have you not learned your lessons yet? The Wii, it had its gimmick, so it was a success. The Wii U, as soon as people heard it wasn't even as strong as the Xbox One and PS4, a lot of people checked out. And you're doing that same shit again. You're not innovating, at least as far as graphics goes. As far as processing power goes. I'm sure they'll have their good first-party titles, but come on, man, what are you doing?
Yeah, Nintendo is living and dying by the old adage that graphics don't make a game. And that is 1000% true, but they're just holding on to that so tight because so many fans are so in love with their they're so in love with those first-party titles that they're willing to forgo that. Yeah, okay, they're just more cartoony, more colorful. Every other system, including PCs, are just going to that more realistic graphic standpoint. And honestly, I think Nintendo is just so far behind. They know, why are we even going to try and compete in that realm? Why don't we just continue to make the games that we know our fans love? I mean, most people that are hardcore Mario or Legend of Zelda fans probably aren't your Call of Duty or the Division players or people of that ilk. So I just think they realize we're not even going to try. They should, especially if they want to start doing third-party compatibility and they really want to be competitive with future Xbox and PS consoles. I just don't ever see them going that way, so I'm not shocked about that. What's the next one?
All right, a little bit of good news. Rumors again. Some small, or I guess maybe not even small developers, just some random developers who have looked at the tech behind it, have been saying it's a really easy-looking console to develop for. So, what do you think?
I'm curious if those devs are the ones that typically make Nintendo games and are saying it, or if it's, like I said, third-party people like your Grand Theft Autos and whatnot I don't know enough. I mean, hey, if it's easy for everyone to make games for, then that's great. And that should open up a whole new world and would maybe even make me want to go out and get that newest system. Depending on the price point, of course. I just hope we would see those savings if it is so much easier to make a game for, but who am I kidding? We're not going to see no savings.
Yeah, God knows that'll never happen. But you know what? If it's actually easy to develop for, maybe we'll finally see third-party titles again on a Nintendo console, and maybe Nintendo will finally really be a competitor in a video game generation, because besides the Wii, it's been a really long time. It's been since the Super NES for that. So, you know my stance. I love competition between these companies. It can only help everyone out in the long run. Alright, next up. Weird piece of tech. It turns out that they're going to have some kind of wireless HDMI dongle. So basically, if you have HDMI on your TV, you will just plug that in, and you can play your NX on your TV with no wires required. Kind of crazy stuff.
So I'm actually going to do a little research after this podcast about this because I'm fascinated by that. But the first second I hear this, I just imagine, fine, it's something you plug into your HDMI, like Jim said, doggles on. I still imagine you need some type of smart TV technology there, unless it is completely independent. If it is, that's cool. I mean, the way technology is now, it wouldn't shock me that something like that could work. I think it's a ballsy move. I just hope they are smart enough to have a backup, like you could still hook up a regular HDMI cable if for some reason, that dongle, I don't know, maybe you're going to have to charge that dongle, or does it draw power from your TV? I think there's a lot of unknowns as far as that technology, and if they can get it to work on the first shot, good for you. But my experience with anything mechanical, electrical, the more pieces you have, the more shit that can break, and that means less time gaming and more time bitching about what broke opening day.
Actually, the more I'm thinking about it, it's just bringing up more questions to me. Like, first off, is there really a point if all your controllers are wireless anyway? I mean, I guess it's cool you can have your console wherever you want, but then if you have wireless projection onto a TV, do you even have a power cord to have it plugged into a wall? Is it just a cartridge, or not a cartridge, a controller that's your system and what you play it on? It's just, I don't know. It seems really weird to me. It's cool, and it's definitely technology that I'm sure other people would really love to have, but I don't know. It's just giving me more questions than answers at this point. So, sure, good for them if they can make it work. I just don't see the inherent need for it is all. And there's a lot of them out there, but the last one I'm going to talk about is force feedback in the controller. So basically what that's going to mean is there's already been a lot of racing sticks and wheels and controllers that have force feedback, and that works great for racing games. But to have it as your main thing in a controller, so if you're, say, stuck in a corner in a platformer or, an adventure game, the controller's going to lock up or it's going to push you back the other way. Kind of an interesting idea. I think it might get really annoying after a while, or it might be something awesome that really puts you in the game more. I really can't comment until I actually play with it.
I'm sure back in the day when people first heard the idea of the Rumble Pack, they were thinking, how the hell is this going to add to my experience when gaming? And to be honest, I wouldn't say it really adds. It's a cool little thing. But when you play with a Rumble Pack and then you don't, you notice a difference, is the best way I can describe it. Now, what Jim just said, I am someone who breaks shit all the time. And if I'm already in a game that's pissing me off and I'm trying to move the controller and this force feedback thing is forcing the stick the other way, I can promise you I will break that stick just from trying to force it. Which goes back to my point. The more mechanical or electrical pieces you add to something, the more shit is going to break. So, as a cool feature, yeah. Is it necessary? Not in my eyes. I mean, it seems like Nintendo kind of goes away from things like worrying about graphics, third-party development, to just more gimmicky, here's let's change the way people play games, like the Wii U or the Wii itself, or now this. I mean, they seem to focus so much more on the peripherals of gaming versus the games themselves. Not saying they completely ignore games, because we all know they still put out high-quality games. Not saying that. But maybe just focus a little less of your R&D on this type of shit, and just focus more on make it compatible with every third-party game. I don't know. I know I keep harping on that point, but like I said, it just seems like somebody in that fucking development team has a job there to just dick around with joysticks and ways to play the game. And it's like, he must be someone's, he must be someone's nephew who couldn't get a job anywhere else, and he has to dick around with this. That's the way I look at it.
Jesus.
I don't know. To me, and I know some people might hate me for saying that, but if you're really going to start worrying about peripherals and experiencing the game and getting more involved, we all know it's going towards VR, so I'm more shocked they're not doing a bigger VR push with this system. I'm sure that will be their next kick in the next system, but right now it seems like they're kind of sticking with the Wii U model with enough of a enough differentials to make it stand alone, if that makes any sense.
All right, well, that's about all we got for this one, folks. I guess we've talked about the NX enough for now, so we'll leave it at that. Let us know what you think about the NX, and really, let us think about any other topics you have gaming-related or beer-related. So as always, guys, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and cheers.
Cheers.